Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Bogey Lounge podcast. This podcast is going to be all about golf. It's going to be a mix of the PGA Tour, the Live Tour, a little bit of the TGL, a little bit of YouTube golf, blended in with just golf fun as well, all around, and some gambling, predictions and odds as well. I want to start this podcast. I played college golf for 4 years at Concordia University, Ann Arbor. Wasn't very good, hence the name Bogey Lounge. After I left college, I didn't play golf too much for the next 2 years. My handicap dropped significantly. I'm now sitting right around about an 11 handicap. So bogey is a good score for me. Bogey is a good score for most of my friends and people who just want to have fun when they play golf, and that's what this podcast is for. It's just to have fun and learn a little bit more about golf, whether it's PGA Tour or whatever it may be. So last week we had the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and that was won by Collin Morikawa. It was the first signature event of the year. If you're not familiar with signature events, they are the main events on the PGA Tour that are not majors. The majors actually are not ran by the PGA Tour, so they are the biggest events that are run by the PGA Tour with very strict qualifications. You have to finish in the top 50 of the previous year's FedEx Cup standings to qualify for the next year's signature events. And then there's some other qualifiers in between that allow you to get in. If you're the next top 10 in the FedEx standings besides the top 50, you can get in. Some tournaments have their own separate qualifications as well, but essentially there's a strict amount of qualifications that limits the field to about only 80 golfers compared to the larger fields, and most of them do not have cuts either. So the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am is one of those that did not have any cuts, and Collin Morikawa was able to secure his first win since he won the 2021 Open Championship. So it's been a while since Collin Morikawa had won. He's a two-time major champion. He's been playing well as of late, so we'll see if he will be able to continue to expand on that this year and maybe parlay it into another win or two on the tour. He had an interesting last hole. He was waiting for, I forget the name of the individual, but hit it on the beach on 18 at Pebble Beach. For those of you who don't know, Pebble Beach sits on the Pacific Ocean, and a player hit it on the beach and got stuck down on the beach trying to get the ball out. So there was about a 20-minute delay for Collin Morikawa. All he needed to do was hit the green and I believe make a par to win, and he was able to do so. Besides that, Scotty Scheffler was able to have an insane comeback on the final round day, playing extremely well and eagling the last hole to be the clubhouse leader at one point until Min Woo Lee came in at one stroke ahead of him. Scotty's been playing great this year, already one win, which is phenomenal, but he seems to, of the last few tournaments, giving himself a little bit of a disadvantage, starting very slow and finishing really hot. I saw someone explain it on Instagram as it's almost like he's giving everyone a head start, a handicap, because he is obviously the best golfer in the world, and he's starting to enter, not quite, but starting to enter Tiger dominance levels. I believe he just set the record for most top 10 finishes in a row or something like that. It seems to be inevitable. Even at the Phoenix Open, we started out struggling to even make the cut. Announcers were joking in the second round that it's the first time they've had a cut line, announcement or, talking about Scotty not making the cut in a very long time. He's just always at the top of the leaderboard. And still with that, he ends up making it a top 10 finish where he was projected to be, at one point, be cut through, call it 25 holes. It was looking like he was going to be cut, and he ends up coming back and finishing in the top 10. It almost seems like that at this point. Scotty is just never out of a golf tournament. He's just that good. He has the ability to go shoot low and lower than the entire field every other time. And it started to almost seem like his name on the leaderboard next year is kind of a fear factor, like it was for Tiger. When Tiger was on the leaderboard, and if you were trying to win a tournament, like when Tiger won the 2019 Masters, having your name on top of the leaderboard next to Woods, knowing he has a chance to win a tournament, was always scary, especially when Tiger was at his prime. And it's starting to almost feel that way with Scotty. Announcers were talking about it at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Hey, if Scotty Birdie's here and his name jumps up at the leaderboard, the leaders, the first time they were able to see the leaderboard in a while was on the 12th hole. If they see Scotty up there at the top of the leaderboard on the 12th hole, it adds a little more pressure to him, and it really does, just because Scotty is that good at golf. He is by far the best player in the world. I think someone did the math. The difference between Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy, who's number 2 in the overall world golf ratings, is the difference between you and I. I don't have any overall world golf rating points, and I'm sure most people obviously listening to this do not. And the difference between Scotty and Rory is the difference between us and Rory. It's kind of like that old saying that Brian Scalabrine had, that I'm closer to Michael Jordan, or sorry, closer to LeBron James than you are to me. And it's almost flipped. Apparently, we are closer to Rory than Rory is to Scotty. Obviously, that's not true. The world golf rating points are, obviously a point structure that doesn't actually accurately depict the talent of individual players, but it's just by how they have been doing as of late and historically. But clearly, Scotty is someone who is entering, a streak of golf that probably hasn't been seen since Tiger. On top of that, Jake Knapp also having a great year this year, who started this year with 4 top 11 finishes to start the year in all 4 of the tournaments he's played. Chris Gotterup started off hot and already won 2 tournaments this year, was looking to be the first person to win 3 tournaments in the first 5 in like 50 years or something, but ended up struggling in round 2, 3, and 4, shooting only a couple under par each day, which just does not get it done over there at Pebble Beach for the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. But overall, very exciting tournament. It was always great watching a golf tournament on Sunday come down to the final hole. There was a couple people in contention, a couple people trying to make eagle to get into it, and it seemed pretty clear that Colin was going to win at the end of the day there. But with that long delay, you never know. As pressure gets to you, the thoughts of, am I going to hit it in the water, or am I going to hit the green? Pressure builds, but he did a very good job of remaining calm and staying comfortable in the situation, and doing what he needed to do. For next week, we have the second signature event, which is the Genesis Invitational, and obviously we want to try to see and predict who's going to win that. Perfect pick always is Scotty. I mean, if you pick Scotty every tournament, you got a pretty good odds of him winning. I think he's won like 40% of the tournaments he started in the last 15 starts, which is absolutely insane. So he's always a great pick. His odds right now are plus 300. So the second best odds, which is also another great pick, he's been playing great this year, is Rory McIlroy. His odds of late are plus 1100. 2 other golfers who to look out for who've been playing good this year. Tommy Fleetwood, who's coming off of winning the FedEx Cup last year, and it was ironically his first PGA Tour win, even though he's someone who's regularly at the top of leaderboards. Finally won a PGA Tour event. He is plus 1900, with that pressure, kind of stepping off of him of having not won a PGA Tour event ever. I would look for him to be someone who is going to be competing this year, as he always has been, and someone now will be able to close down the stretch, who has got that pressure off him. And, this could be his one. Who knows? He's been playing great this year to start. He's coming off that momentum from last year. It's early in the year, so able to capitalize off that as well. And then another good pick that I would say would be Hideki Matsuyama. Hideki's also been playing well. I think he's been at the top of the leaderboard every tournament he's played in this year. Seems to have a chance to win every day going into at least Sunday. So he's been playing great. A couple sleeper picks for as far as odds-wise. Jake Knapp, who's been playing great this year. We just talked about him with 4 top 11 starts in a row to start the year. His odds are plus 35,000 plus 3,500 to win. He would be a great sleeper pick. Someone who has been at the top of the leaderboard this year, playing great. Obviously has some type of momentum. Just got to put 4 good rounds together, and anyone can put 4 good rounds together. Just because you're low on the odds does not mean you have no chance of winning. Golf is such a hard sport to compete in, and if you put 4 good rounds together, you're going to beat almost everyone on the field. Another great pick would be Sepp Straka, who played great last week at the AT&T Pebble Beach. His odds are currently plus 4,000, so a little bit of higher odds or lesser odds than Jake Knapp, but still would be a great pick. And then Minwoo Lee as well is sitting at plus 4,000. Minwoo Lee had a chance to go to a playoff last week with Colin Morikawa. Obviously, Colin Morikawa ended up getting done what he needed to get done at 18, but there was a chance. It looked like maybe he was going to be going to a playoff. He was warming up and staying loose the whole time, waiting to see just in case. And obviously, you never know what's going to happen. It happened, the week before at the Phoenix Open when Hideki ended up bogeying and ended up being a playoff with Chris Gotterup, and Chris Gotterup ended up winning that playoff. So, who knows? It's always possible. So he was staying loose, and even on it seemed unlikely, it's always possible. That's just how way golf works. Anyone can bogey whenever, even on a hole that's playing almost like a par 4. It's actually a par 5 at Pebble Beach at number 18. Some other golfers who you should keep an eye out for, who have been playing great and are just historically great golfers as well too, at least a few of them here, would be Xander Schauffele. Has been playing great this year. I don't have his odds here written down, but he is someone who has smaller chances and higher odds to win. Could be a great pick. Ricky Fowler has been playing great this year. He's my brother's favorite golfer, and he played great last year. He's been playing great this year. He's someone who's won tournaments before, has the ability to win tournaments, and wouldn't be shocked if he finds his name at the top of one of these signature events, just like Justin Thomas did last year. And then Justin Rose, also playing great this year, already won this year, could have a chance to, capitalize and win one of these signature events. He's obviously a great golfer, played great last year, finished second in the Masters, losing to Rory in a playoff. He's been playing great as of late. Yes, he's a little older, but age seems to not be a factor at all anymore in golf. Robert McIntyre, playing great as well this year, and he's another name that you could look out for this week, as well as Chris Gotterup, who's already won 2 tournaments this year. I mean, it's very hard to win 3 tournaments in what would be, I think, 5 starts for him and 6 tournaments for the year. So, it's unlikely just from an odds standpoint, but a historical odds standpoint, I should say. But, I mean, he's another name that you should watch out for. There's a good chance that he could be at top of the leaderboard and have a chance to win. He's obviously proven that he has a chance to go low any day, and one round, great round can put you in a position to win, and he has the ability to do that for sure. In other golf news, the TGL Tour, which is Tigers and I believe Rory is also a partner in it. Their simulator golf league, very cool, and fancy simulators. If you've never seen it, go ahead and check it out. But obviously, it's not like your traditional simulators of where you go to, your country club or to a retail center where they have simulators, whatever it may be, where you're hitting on a simulator and then you putting on a simulator. TGL, you hit on a massive simulator screen, which is a giant screen, and then you actually place your ball on a physical location and putt to a physical hole. But Neil Shipley had an ace I think it's by now, it's probably about a week ago. And the question is, people always say the simulator aces count. Hole-in-ones on simulator, do they count? I would almost have to say this one counts. I mean, this is probably the most accurate simulator that's ever been made. It's on the biggest stage in golf. I mean, they're playing for actual competition. So it's not just like you and your buddies messing around. So I would have to say it counts. If I got a hole-in-one on a simulator, I'd probably count it anyways, even though most people wouldn't. But that's a different conversation there. And then Tiger Woods, we spoke of him as being a part owner of the TGL. He is, they've been teasing that Tiger Woods has a chance to, or Tiger Woods actually got asked if he was going to be able to play in the Masters. And he kind of teased that he might be able to, and which would be great for golf. It's always better when Tiger is playing in any tournament. I was a little young. I'm 27 now, so I was a little young when Tiger was really dominating in the early 2000s, especially the early 2000s. And in the late 2000s, I was still really a little young to understand outside of what was going on at ESPN. Obviously, watched him win the Masters in 2019. I've watched every tournament he's been in, since I've been watching golf since probably when I was around 17 years old. And it's just golf's way more interesting with him. The crowds follow him. The views are different. It's just more pressure for people playing in this group. It's just a different atmosphere of golf that you really don't get unless Tiger is playing. So it'd be great to see him come and play at the Masters. It'd be great to see him continue to play. I I believe Phil is a little older than him, and Phil's still playing relatively well. Obviously, he's not playing at the level that he once was, and I don't think Tiger ever will either, but it seems like I already said before with Justin Rose, age seems to not matter too much right now. In golf, it's just the technology is so good. They're so good at taking care of their bodies, and just with age too, you get sort of a better understanding of. You probably played these courses more than a lot of these people, and you just understand the mental struggle a little bit better, I would say. Obviously, all these guys pretty great at that, but having that experience is something you just can't. You can't get it without just having it. And then lastly, in other golf news here, on the DP World Tour, Patrick Reed has been playing phenomenal, trying to play his way back onto the PGA Tour. I believe he's won 2 tournaments in a row and finished in the top 3 or second in another one, which is just phenomenal. I think actually the one he finished second in, I think technically maybe he finished third because of the way the playoffs worked, but or maybe I think maybe it would be considered tied second, but I think he lost in a three-person playoff. So he's been playing phenomenal this year. He's not playing this week, so he won't be teeing off tomorrow, but he has been playing great this year, that's for sure. Then we're going to swing on over to the competitive tour, to the PGA Tour, the Live Golf Tour. They just announced earlier this year, obviously with Brooks Koepka coming back to the PGA Tour, no one giving the opportunity for what was a list of basically 5 golfers to be able to come back, one being Bryson. But they just changed Live Golf, which was originally called Live, L-I-V, the Roman numeral 454, to 72-hole tournaments in an effort to be able to gain overall world golfing rank points. I know we were just talking about that earlier, about how Scotty is the number 1 golfer in the world by far, but now playing in the Live Tour, you will be able to receive your world golf ranking points, which is a big deal because back to the point of the signature events, one of the things to qualify for a signature event is being in the top 30 in the world golf rankings. And it makes me wonder, now with these guys receiving points, will the PGA Tour start considering letting some of these guys play in the signature events who have qualified their way in? The number 1 person to look for would be Bryson. He finished 27th in the world golf rankings last year, and he's currently sitting at 32. He would be someone to where it would be great to see him play in these signature events. He's obviously one of the biggest names in golf. He's one of the biggest names in YouTube golf, and it would be great to see him just compete outside of the major championships. He obviously would have the ability to win any single one of these signature events, even though he's not that high in the world golf rankings. He's probably a top 5, maybe top 3 golfer in the world, right behind Rory and Scotty. And he's won of recent, and he's just a phenomenal golfer as well. It'll be interesting to see if they would let him play in some of those events, and I think the PGA Tour really should consider it. The PGA Tour is supposed to be the best tour. They don't disclude people from other tours. If you are playing great, like Patrick Reed, who's playing great on the DP World Tour, if he keeps playing great and he plays his way into a top 30 world golf rank, he would be able to play in the signature events, to my knowledge. I don't think they would withhold him. So I would feel, and I would argue, if you are the PGA Tour, you want to have the best golf. So having the best golf would be having the guys who qualify the correct way. Whether you like the Live Golf Tour or you don't like the Live Golf Tour, having the best golfers together for these signature events is what makes golf great. And it probably wouldn't be too much of a difference of the people who are currently playing. Really, the only one who maybe would have a chance to get in would be Bryson, but it'd be great to see him in those tournaments. And then it would be great to see people be able to have the ability to play into the tournaments outside of just Bryson. If you're playing great golf, you should be able to play in the big tournaments. Also with Live, Anthony Kim won his first tournament since 2010. He had struggled with some off-the-course issues, but was able to win the Live Golf Tournament, and I believe he predicted his win. Basically, he was on a interview for the Live Golf and said, he wouldn't be here if he wasn't playing to win, which is just phenomenal. I've seen a bunch of TikTok edits with him saying that and then him actually winning. It's great to see him win and return to, golf glory. Obviously not the same as Tiger winning the 2019 Masters, not the same type of return from a popularity wise, but really kind of the same thing. Another guy who was really struggling in his career, struggling with off the course issues, finally being able to get a win. So it's great for the game of golf, great for him. Great to see him be someone who could play his way into these signature events too. Obviously, he would have a lot of work to do, but he did jump from 849th in the world golf rankings to 203, so still quite a way out of that top 30. But all it takes is one good year or a few good tournaments, strings, and you can jump up in the world's golf rankings very easy. I think Patrick Reed has jumped a phenomenal amount. I don't know what the numbers are off the top of my head, but just a few wins back to back or a few top 5 finishes back to back, and you're climbing the world golf rankings. Being consistent is one of the hardest things to do in golf. So if you are consistent and you are playing well for a few weeks, maybe a little more than a few weeks, you have an opportunity to jump into that top 30 for sure. And then we're swinging on over to YouTube golf. If you haven't seen it yet, the Bryan Bros have been playing Sean Walsh and Brad Dahlke from Good in a 2v2 match. Spoiler, it's ahead, so please skip ahead or pause if you have not seen it yet. But they did complete their 3-round challenge, I believe, yesterday. They finished the last 18 holes with alternate shot, where Sean and Brad started with a 3-shot advantage from the previous 2 rounds. And it ended up coming all the way down to the 18th hole, where it ended in a tie. So I'm not sure. I think they teased that they would have some type of tiebreaker. It's great to see them playing that competitively. Obviously, those are 4 of the, probably best golfers in YouTube golf. Brad Dahlke obviously winning the Barstool Invitational, and the Bryan Bros, Wesley and George, obviously phenomenal golfers as well. And I'm going to mix them up. I believe it is Wesley Bryan who was on the PGA Tour, and another guy who obviously wouldn't be able to play in these signature events, but I wish the PGA would allow him to receive his tour card back. I don't know why that they are withholding it. Again, the tour, now even outside these signature events, is supposed to be the best golfers. I know they have issues with YouTube and YouTube golf, and I know that Good had issues with them before on recording stuff on ranges. I know that's probably one of the reasons why Bryson does not want to come back to the PGA Tour, is because of their restrictions of what you can do on YouTube. Obviously, they've loosened up a little bit. I know Akshay Bhatia just filmed a video with the good guys. So obviously they're loosening it up a little bit, but I don't understand the reasoning for withholding the ability for Wesley to go join the tour again. Obviously, he's a phenomenal golfer, and if he's playing well enough, he deserves to be able to be there. He's a winner of the RBC Heritage, which is a massive tournament now. It wasn't a signature event when he won, but it's now a signature event. It's another tournament where you win a jacket. If you win, it's a red and plaid jacket. So it would be great to see him at least be able to play in that. I believe he would have some type of exemption for that tournament for being a winner. So it's kind of unfortunate that they're withholding his ability to play. I don't agree with the good guys that he would draw a bigger crowd than Brooks Koepka. I'm sure he, like people who watch YouTube golf, I don't know if they're really going to go and watch a golf tournament. Obviously, though, he would draw a lot of excitement if he was playing in a tournament. He's a phenomenal golfer, a great guy. People would be interested to see how he would compete with professional golfers now. Obviously, he was a professional golfer once, so he has the ability to, but he argues that he's better now. I know his brother says he's better now, but who really knows? I know he's put as like someone does the handicaps for YouTube golfers. He's a plus 7 or whatever. So obviously, phenomenal golfer, playing great. He's a phenomenal putter as well. But those guys on the PGA Tour do have a different level of consistency where their mishits are a lot more narrow. But it's tough to tell when you're going from watching someone on YouTube to watching the tour guys. It's very easy to be able to point out the bad shots easier on YouTube than it is watching a professional golfer on the tour. And then lastly, I want to talk about my fantasy golf league that I've been running with my friends. My friends and I started this fantasy golf league, and there's 12 of us. It's a phenomenal idea. It's very similar to fantasy football, to where you have a roster that you can start. You start different guys. You can pick different guys for free agency, trade people. Not your traditional fantasy golf. I know the traditional fantasy golf method for, I believe, the PGA Tour app has their own, is, you can draft whoever you want each week, not pick the same people X amount of times. And, although that is cool to do, I think that our format is much more engaging to the casual golf watcher, to where, like, fantasy football is very engaging because they got a casual football watcher. You don't need to be checking it every single day, every single week. You have your roster. You make your starts in fantasy football on Thursday. Same for fantasy golf, Wednesday night, Thursday morning. You figure out who you're starting, and then it's set for the week. Obviously, in football, though, if you have some, it ends up being injured for Monday night, you can put a replacement in there, and that's not happening in fantasy golf. But it's very similar to fantasy football. You start people, you have a roster, you start people, you know who's on your team, you become familiar with your team, you want your team to do well, you become familiar with the players on your team. If you're really engaged, you're watching your individual players. If they're not on the main feed or they're not in one of the featured groups, you're following them on the leaderboard and on the PGA Tour app. You can favorite golfers, and it just makes golf a little more interesting. It makes you very aware of, at least 8 golfers. Outside your top guy, you might not have known the bottom 4 golfers on your team. When you're talking 12 people with 8 people on a roster, there's 96 people rostered. So we got 96 golfers rostered, and it's an opportunity to learn new golfers, learn who's playing well. You see someone on another team having someone playing well. The format is spectacular as well. We do it kind of based off of a season point format, kind of like the FedEx Cup, which if you're playing well in the PGA Tour, in tournaments, you get FedEx Cup points, which qualifies you for the FedEx Cup playoffs. Kind of same type of deal. You get season points, but instead of doing it against the whole field, it goes kind of like a football qualification. We have divisions and conferences. If you win your division, you're automatically in the playoffs. If you win your conference, or then it's their next 2 best teams within the conference who didn't automatically win their division, kind of like the wild card is in the NFL. So we'll have 8 teams make the playoffs out of the 12, and the playoffs is actually the FedEx Cup playoffs. So it's a great concept. We have a TikTok for it. Feel free to go check it out. The TikTok is the Fantasy Golf League, and I've been posting there the updates and how the league works. The points are weighted for the size of the tournament. So signature events, there's more points available than there are for regular events like the Phoenix Open, and then there's more points for the majors. So when the Players comes around, we're treating that as a major championship, and same as obviously the Masters, the Open, the US Open, and the PGA are majors. There's more season points on the line for those, but the competition is bigger as well. So for majors, you're playing against the whole field. For the signature events, you're playing against your conference. So 6 guys, you're playing against 5 others. And then every other week outside that, you're playing against 2 other people. And then the winner gets 2 season points. The first or second place gets 1 season point. So it's a very cool concept, very unique. To my knowledge, it's the only type of league like that exists. So it'll be interesting to see if we can, make something out of it, keep growing, and really make it engaging and more interesting towards the end of the year, and see if we can do it again next year. But that is all I have for today. I'll see you guys next week, and we will discuss what's coming up in golf and what happened at the Genesis Invitational. We'll see if any of my predictions were accurate or not. So see you guys next week.